Okay, today I want to talk about MtG finance, the concept a lot of us know about that deals with the treatment of magic cards, kind of like stocks. The rise and fall of card prices, the secondary market, how it impacts the primary market, how it impacts us. And so I don't bore you with some video where I'm sitting in my car, like some people do, just pointing camera face. I'll be goldfishing my vintage Jun deck while I'm doing it, so you've got some form of entertainment. Alright, so anyway, about MtG Finance. Most of the information I get, and by the way, all... you can see what I look like. Most of the information about MtG Finance comes from following Rudy at the Alpha Investments channel, and MtGMoxMan at his channel. And so lately both of them had reporting an uptick in magic prices. Well, not magic prices. Sorry, that's completely wrong. Not prices. Prices are falling. Both of them are reporting price falls pretty much across the board. Of course, sealed is down, even though Rudy, being more of a sealed guy than Moxman, he reports that Ixalan, lost caverns of Ixalan did really well. A lot of sets are selling pretty well. Ravnica Remastered was not the complete collapse most people thought it would be. And in general, the market is experiencing an uptick as far as sealed product goes. Now, Moxman, he deals more with single card prices. He's got his weekly top 10 roundup for reserve list, and he's been showing that sales are really increasing. Lightning bolt that. Like I said, I'm just goldfishing, just playing with the deck. Sales are increasing. The prices are falling. And what he reports is that as prices fall, as the cards become more attractive, more people are jumping in and buying. So that begs the question, why are prices falling? And we have to look at macroeconomics. We have to look at the overall situation. This is something that neither Rudy nor Moxman touch on to an intense degree. Rudy touches on it more than Moxman. Moxman will say things like times are hard, inflation is eating away at everything, prices are rising, that sort of thing. But they won't really look into why, because that's not what their channels do. So I'll look into the why. So what's going on, what happened last year, and I'm going to look at it mainly from a U.S. perspective, even though I'm sitting in Europe, and then consider the European perspective accordingly. So, October last year, the student loans in the U.S. started having to be repaid. I imagine, I don't have an exact Venn diagram for it, but I imagine there's a lot of overlap between Magic players in the United States and student loans. I imagine a lot of them either have student loans or are actively students. And so in October last year, over 40 million Americans had to start paying an average of $400 a month, which they had not had to pay during COVID because there's a moratorium on interest for student loans, and there's a moratorium on repaying the loans themselves. They were frozen because the government wanted people to sit at home and have money to buy stuff during the pandemic. Well, that stopped. The free money stopped. So now that the free money has stopped and is no longer inflating the American economy, and the student loans have to be repaid, which, as I said, is an average of $400 US a month. Discard, abrupt decay, why not? So, less money in the household, interest rate or inflation has increased significantly in the U.S., and a sudden average bill of $400 a month, which had not been having to pay for a while. So people have less money. A lot of them are Magic players. So you're looking at your cards, and let's just take a look at it. So this will be an aside. My thoughts are kind of disjointed in this. I'm trying to put it all together. Let's take a look at Tarmogoyf. Let's take a look at Liliana. Tarmogoyf used to be kissing €100 for this flat non-foil version from FutureSight. Liliana, she was €75, I'm pretty sure. And now they're both €15 each. I looked a little while ago. I bought my Tarmogoyfs at €25, and they fell €10 further. I bought my Lilianas at about the same, €25, and she's €15. I looked at Misha's Workshop. I bought mine on credit. Now, my friend gave me a good deal where I made him payments to buy the workshop with no interest, so that was really nice. But I paid €2,000 for it, and similar ones are going for, similar condition ones are going now for €1,700. So we have this, sales are picking up because prices have fallen. Prices have fallen across the board. Reserve list, modern, of course, this gets decimated because of Wizards reprinting. And it's because people in the main economies that support the secondary market don't have as much money. Either inflation is eating into them very quickly, or they might have lost their job, or that in America, that student loan payment might be biting them. So what do? They sell their cards. Well, if Liliana is going for €25, and you've got a playset and you just want the cash, you need to sell out. You can't sell it for €100 a playset and expect to sell it quickly. You need the money now. So you either buy list it, and you take 60% to 50% of the value, maybe more if the shop already has a bunch, or you sell it in an PM and you have to undercut everybody else in order to get the attention, in order to sell. And then what happens to the next person that comes along, and they've got a playset of Lilianas, and they would need to sell. They have to undercut that other person further, so it creates a downward spiral. On the way down, people that still have jobs, people that don't have student loan payments, people that have money, start snatching up the cheaper cards. But at some point, they will become, so few people will have the money, or the cards will not be that desirable, that they will sit there longer and longer, forcing the price down further and further. In Germany, what's happening, of course, is, and it doesn't matter what you think of what's going on politically with the Ukrainian operation, it is undeniable that the loss of cheap energy to Germany has hit them hard. I'm sitting in Czech Republic, and when Germany sneezes, we catch a cold. So without access to cheap energy from Russia, the German economy has been faltering for a year now. Industries are closing. Businesses are laying people off. People are feeling the pinch. Prices are rising. The United States has tried to step in to fill the gap, but it's not as cheap as from Russia. So even if the United States is able to provide one-for-one every bit of energy that Germany has lost from the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline, it would be at higher prices. So again, Germany is uncompetitive. A lot of German players, or a lot of Germans play Magic. It's printed in German. It's so popular there. Anyway, let me resolve this Sylvan library while I'm talking. So, the Germans, and I just shuffled in the Liliana. Anyway, so the Germans, let me try that. I'll just reshuffle this. I can't do two things at once, apparently. Magic is too thought intensive for me to talk about anything of any depth and play at the same time. So there's even on Incam, there's this, one of the companies, or what is it? Actually, it's on YouTube. There's a magic shop in Germany that says, no, no kidding. Bill collectors knocking at your door, landlord looking for you. Do you happen to have trading cards laying around? Sell us your trading cards. So they're openly preying on people that have a bill due, that need to pay their rent, and have spent money on magic cards, on Pokemon cards, to sell them to the shop. They're openly going after these people, enticing them. So that's always happened. There's always been times where certain Magic players would have a valuable card and they would sell out to meet a bill, expecting to buy the card back later. And if this continues, if this downward pressure on prices continues as the economies worsen, U.S. as it becomes less competitive because of inflation, and remember, in the United States, the Federal Reserve has said flat out, increasing unemployment is one of their goals. This is counterfeit. Don't get excited. The Federal Reserve actually wants people out of work so Americans don't have money to chase goods and services to relieve the pressure on inflation. They don't want to raise interest rates to slow down inflation. They want people out of jobs. Well, Magic players out of jobs, what are they going to do? Sell out. What's that going to do? Push down the prices. Germany, it's not that bad because the Germans have a better social safety net than the U.S., but it's not 100%. It's as if they're getting some massive €4,000 a month universal basic income or anything, and it's going to start to bite. So anyway, kind of my point is that I see these sales that MtGMoxMan talks about, this high velocity as people are seeing, wow, prices are falling. Well, people buying now, if they get in that bind, if they get in a situation where they go out of, they're going to have to sell, and they're going to have to take a bath. So personally, what I'm doing is I'm not buying anything big. I mean, there's a dual lands I'd love to buy. I'd like to get my replace the Lake of the Dead that I bought, because I bought it years ago for €30. I sold it in the middle of the pandemic for, I believe, €100, and now it's down to €70, but I think it's going to fall further. It's not that popular a card. Sure, it's reserve list, but all these cards that are not that popular are overprinted, like poor Tarmogoyf here. They're going to keep going down. And this is also why I think Wizards of the Coast is slowing down print runs. So they've got a lot of people in the Hasbro marketing team whose whole job is to try to look in the future, dust off their crystal balls, and try to predict what's going to happen. Well, if they're predicting an economic slowdown, a massive economic slowdown in their main markets, in Europe, in the Americas, then yes, they need to slow down the printing. I don't think it's because of any sop to the players. I don't think it's because they feel like they've overprinted the cards to death. I think it's because they see this economic storm getting worse, and they're going to slow down printing now because of their lead times. They have this long lead time between when a set is finalized and then when it goes to the printers for production and distribution. So they need to start doing that now, throttling back. So what do all of you think? Are you following any of the macroeconomic situation? Are you tying it to your personal situation. Are you starting to decide to wait and see how far down prices can go? Ren 6, I should look that up. I traded for it to a friend, and it was about 100 euros when he traded. I think she's down to 80 now. I don't know. She's been reprinted, of course, since the time I traded for her. Interesting to find out. I'll have to look that up. And then, of course, the other thing, as Rudy says, what'll happen to especially desirable reserve list cards if they hit a certain price point? Somebody like him, maybe not him, somebody like him, they're going to swoop in and buy them. So Bizarre Baghdad, if it goes back down to 500 euros, let alone 300, somebody with deep pockets is probably going to swoop in and buy up the market. So what happens if somebody like that gets in trouble? What if somebody like Rudy himself needs a sudden flood of liquidity? There's another guy, Anger Collections. I watch him occasionally. He's selling half his reservist list collection. He's selling half of his 80 dual lands. He's considering selling some of his power, and he actually has authentic power, which I don't have authentic power. I have China power. Because he wants liquidity. I don't know if he's really in a squeeze, if he really needs the money because bills are due. But somebody with a collection like his, being in that pinch, well, he couldn't be the only one. There would have to be hundreds, if not thousands, of other people also in a similar situation, in a similar pinch, having to sell out. But again, like as it was leading to, Rudy's got this massive vault where he's got, I don't know how many Black Lotuses, how many sets of Arabian Nights, how many thousands of random Arabian Nights cards, how many hundreds of libraries at Alexandria. So if he needs to sell out, if he needs to reduce his collection in order to raise money, because he's got some heavy bags. I mean, he deals in a massive, massive volume of sealed product. He could move the market. He could crash the whole market. He could probably, Mox Ruby, he could probably, by himself, single-handedly, if he needed to, if he felt desperate enough, put enough Mox Rubies up for sale to crash the market, as far as you can crash the market for a Mox Ruby. Or a sealed. He can, I mean, if he puts a pallet of Bloody Dominaria United up on a fire sale, it'll crash the market for everybody else for years. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of the people that have these massive collections, if they start seeing the pinch and they start needing to sell out. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts and concerns about what we're seeing, what's happening. Because I'm kind of worried that the economic crash that we've been told is going to happen again, 2008 reduh, is here. I think it's here, and I think this year is going to get worse economically. And what it means for us as Magic players is going to be cheaper cards, but people with other priorities, so they won't be able to buy them because it's either buy a card or feed your family. So feed your family should come first. It's going to be people that needing to sell out, having to take a bath because the prices have fallen so far and they've lost so much value. I guess it's a lot of bad news there, but just want to talk about it. See what all of you think. Let's get some comments. Let's see what my I'd say fans, but I don't know how many of you really like this. Let's see what my subscribers think. Put this up and give me your thoughts. in the comments below.